about that even today. यानी कि आदमी ने एक बार बोला यानी कि हमेशा बोला, वो भले भूल गया हो लेकिन तुझे याद है. तो वो अपने आप से ज्यादा उसको जानती है लगता है. That's what I'm trying to say, but you don't know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you cannot. खुद तो बोली अभी कि I cannot see myself so objectively. 5 minutes. Pain is in fact more closer to you. Just examine both your statements. You are changing the context, but both the statements are talking about you. If the instrument itself is faulty, the information obtained through that instrument cannot be correct and complete or perfect, is that much unreliable. Open your mind to it. When it comes to your own self, you are not very sure. And you discover that yes, there are these things that I still need to correct. But when you say that yes, you know the other person, you are knowing it with the mind that you are having, which is not knowing its own self. Means it's not well calibrated. वो बात अलग है. You can see other people more objectively if you do not have this kind of a connection. The two of you are a unit. If you don't know yourself, you know him even less. Accept that fact. What you have noted, I will not even say really no, are certain behavioral things. But you have no idea what's really going on in the mind. You don't know what's going on in your mind also. These are just external manifestations. That pain has no purpose to be in you. But it is there and you don't know what is it that you are holding on to it with. So when you say, I know him, the moment you say that, you're creating a wall and blocking. And you're not keeping an open mind, you're not allowing that person to make any different impression, whereas change is inevitable. And the vibes that you are sending out is that this is how you are and this is how I will see you. And when my expectations are not met, I otherwise also get imbalanced, disturbed. And if he changes, it will be different because you expect him to be that same old. He will not accept the change. First and foremost, always be open. It relaxes you also. When you're open, there's let go. And so also, the other person has an opportunity to change. Means your environment has an opportunity to change as per your changed way of looking at things. While you are doing your self-cleansing, shouldn't that cleaning send out a different kind of vibes around you? But you are blocking it. यहाँ से जो चेंज शुरू होता है तुम बाहर जाके उसको रोक रही हो कि नहीं, वो वैसा ही रहेगा. उसके प्रति जब तुम्हारा एक्शन या रिएक्शन बदलेगा, वो वैसा रह ही नहीं सकता. इट इज अगेंस्ट द लॉज ऑफ नेचर. I remember doctor mentioning this in class once, and it connected because I had studied this as laws of physics in school. So he talked about this scientist making a vacuum in a box and inserted one uh, single molecular particle, and that particle just remained suspended. He was having a special way of observing it and all that. Sorry. It just remained suspended, slowly swaying a little here, there. Then after having to make good amount of observation of that, the kind of movement, whatever little it was making, and he inserted another one particle. And the movement increased. And both the particles were moving in relation to each other. It was sort of a random sort of a movement, but still there was a pattern that was forming. And that's because they were moving relatively. When a third particle was introduced, the movement further increased. In other words, every particle changes the environment for itself as well as for others. And they start vibrating at a higher frequencies. Actually, in physics, this experiment was done by a physicist called Tyndall, and therefore it is called the Tyndall effect. It's named after the scientist. So this is what I was surprised to hear this as an example coming from doctor. So what he wanted to say, no, it registered because I had studied this in physics. Everybody else must have heard it also. It was said in the class. He didn't tell me. But it registered because I had studied Tyndall effect and it had impressed upon me even then. So I was very happy to see this connection. So now, if two molecular particles cannot remain without influencing each other in such a vast open environment given to them, think of how many particles are you made up of, and how many particles that another person is made up of. Look at the high frequencies at which they are vibrating. How is it possible that it would have no effect? It's just impossible. But yes, mind over matter. You with your mind, yes. इसलिए तो बोल रही हूँ. You with your mind can make it worse. और you can make it better. Yes. क्योंकि वर्स करना ज्यादा दिखाई दे रहा है. We like things to be complicated. We don't like them simple. So be open. Be accepting of anything and everything. Nothing should be unacceptable. No shocks, no surprises for whatever changes that occur. तो ये बात अपने माइंड से निकाल दे, ये ही होगा. और जो भी करना है, each time refining and understanding your duty better. If your actions are dharma oriented, they don't produce too much result. In the sense, no hit back. You don't feel the reaction so much. Because there is no intention of doing anything wrong. Whatever wrong happens or hurt happens is because of ignorance. So therefore I'm saying each time refine to understand your dharma better. So okay, this factor was overlooked. So you consider looking at that factor also next time. But the effort has to constantly be there towards that higher goal. And if dharma is not leading there, then it is not dharma. फिर तुम अधर्म को धर्म बोल रहे हो. तुम ये बताओ, तुम योगा स्टूडेंट है, यू आर trying to lead a yoga way of life. How does it fit in? Does a yogi avoid confrontation? And in this manner, कि हर बार है ना कुछ निग्लेक्ट हो जाता है. ये भी कहानी डॉक्टर जयदेव से ही सुनी, और ये तो इट्स अ रियल स्टोरी. आई फॉरगेट विच ऑफ दिस सेंट trying to save the scorpion that's slipping down, falling into the water. वो बिच्छू हो के अपना धर्म नहीं छोड़ रहा है. मैं मनुष्य हो के मेरा धर्म कैसे छोड़ दूं? तो धर्म के लिए, धर्म पालन करने के लिए तो आदमी कुछ भी पेन दे सकता है, लेकिन इंटेंशन धर्म वाला होना चाहिए. वो इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग होना चाहिए. अब यदि आप पूछे कि अच्छा तो फिर मेरे को क्या बोल के जाना चाहिए था, दैट इज सेकेंडरी. कि बिहेवियर क्या होना चाहिए, बिहेवियर ट्री ध्यान में रखो. योर मोटिव इज इंपॉर्टेंट. Motives are at the root of it. From the motives, you pick up your value system. Depending on the kind of motives you have, if dharma is your motive, you'll pick up the value system that is relevant to dharma. You will understand swadharma correctly. And the attitudes that you will develop based on those values. If motives are the roots, the value system is like the trunk of the tree, branches are the attitudes, the behavior is the flowers and the fruit. तो तुम खाली फ्लावर्स फ्रूट को चेंज करो तो ऑब्वियसली कुछ भी चेंज नहीं हुआ है. तो जो अभी तूने जो बात कही, इट वॉज बेस्ड ऑन द फ्लावर्स फ्रूट्स, राइट. उसके ऊपर नहीं जाना. Just so I don't know how much are you aware of your own motives. वो भी इस स्थिति को देखते हुए तो हाँ, नहीं तुम अभी जो मेरे को कारण बोलोगे दिखाओगे, इट इज एपरेंट, डीप रूटेड. इसको गहराई से समझो. स्टडी एंड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आर योर वैल्यू सिस्टम. There are so many unnecessary, unrequired beliefs that you have picked up, don't you?